Hi guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today we are here with my F1 2015 game review. So this is the main menu. We're quickly looking through all of the different sort of game modes we have in the game. So time trial, basically the same. You see what I mean? Just tracks, you choose which track you want to do. Same old when we look at the standings. Still hackers up there with fastest times, which is disappointing. Hopefully they'll get deleted as quickly as possible, so we just have the legitimate times near the top. Ignore my lap time, my invalidated lap time in my Honda McLaren. Yeah, it's not that great anyway, but you can see here in the My F1 settings, pretty much all the customization you get in this game is selecting your own nationality for online, which isn't exactly that great. You can also see in the My F1 section you can switch the 2014 content, but we'll quickly look at that a little bit later on in the video. Obviously autosave, always good to have that on in the game as well, but pretty much every game has that, so there's no point talking about that. Championship season, we all know what that is. You guys have seen my career mode, which I pretty much called it because it is just the career mode at the end of the day. And pro season mode, haven't touched it at all yet, but for you guys I'm going to go into a pro season mode sort of starter race lobby thing, I don't know, and we're going to try it out. So here we are. This is pro season mode. You're locked in the head camera, and basically you just got to go around using this camera only. Bit weird that you can look behind. Don't really understand the logic in that. I thought you're supposed to be locked to the helmet camera. You got to use the mirrors, but it does let you look behind. But you got automatic gears, no assists. Sorry, not automatic gears. You've got manual gears and no assists enabled, so you have to do all of the driving yourself. So you can see with the controller here, I've never driven on F1 game without assist with the controller, or without all assists, and it's bad. It is bad, believe me, guys. So yeah, well, for me, I'm obviously never done it before, so it'll take a bit of time to get used to. But I think it'd be quite fun if I needed to play it sometime down the line. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm not too sure why this has to be a separate game mode to career mode or championship season. I'm not too sure why it couldn't just be a part of it, and it couldn't just be a setting in the career mode season. So yeah, that's a bit weird, because having this career mode as a whole sort of separate thing in the game, it sort of means the fact that you're wasting quite a lot of space on the game where something else could be. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that pro season isn't just included in the championship season. Obviously quick race, very similar to what we saw in the previous F1 games. But quickly switching over to the 2014 content, guys. So for everyone asking, if you want to, if you're thinking, what do I get, F1 2014 or F1 2015? Get F1 2015 because it has all the F1 2014 content as well, and you pretty much have that whole sort of idea. But if you talk about online, which we'll get to in a bit, maybe 2014 is better. But you can see here they've done a good job at modelling all the faces and the driver suits for all of the 2014 drivers, which is good. It's good they went to the effort of doing all of that. You can just going through all the game modes once again, so you can see there aren't as many game modes as there have been in previous Formula 1 games, which is disappointing. There's none of the sort of scenario mode stuff which we really liked in the past, and it's just a bit disappointing so much stuff was taken out. And if we look at the multiplayer here, you can see so many different things you can go into. How on earth are you going to find players? Because look, there's that's 5 we've seen already, that's 7 that we're up to now. Then if you include this, that's up to 8, and then if you go down to the custom race, that's 9 different options. When, if you think back to F1 2014, there was pretty much just 1 or 2 options. One for a sprint mode lobby, and second for a private lobby, and some custom races in there as well. So instead of having like the 3 settings that you had in multiplayer in previous games, they've switched it up to 9. And I really do agree with the fact that Ben, or Tim McMahon, said in his video, it's going to be impossible to find people like a little bit down the line, like 2 or 3 months down the line, when there literally is no one playing online. How on earth are you going to find people? This is like the first week of the game when it's really hard to find a full lobby. Look, 3 people in this lobby. This is on PC for anyone wondering, so maybe it's probably a bit less on here, but still 3 people. Anyway, let's quickly show you what you have to do when you get to the multiplayer lobby. You have to choose what car you want to go as. So I just picked the Manor for no particular reason, but still 3 people in this lobby, and it's actually going to go to a race. And one thing which I do find annoying is that when you vote to skip track, which I just did at the top right hand side of the screen, you can see there, when you vote to skip track, it auto delays the timer. So basically you could just be sitting there for ages of people just keep pressing the vote to skip track. You might never get to a race. That's what my friend Will and myself were trying to get on, into an online lobby. We couldn't even get into a race because every single time we tried to get to a race, people just kept pressing the skip track button, and we never actually got to go to a race because so many times it was just like skipping tracks, which is really frustrating. As there's only 3 of us in this lobby, I actually did go to the race, but I decided not to really show you it because there's not much point. A 3-man lobby is not fun to watch, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, if you can find a full lobby, or if you're lucky enough to have a lot of subscribers or whatever that can come into a lobby and race with you, it's fine. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But if you just want to have a bit of a relaxing race against maybe not as skilled players online, these sprint mode lobbies are really, really badly laid out in my opinion. It's going to be tough to find any sort of lobby like 2 or 3 months down the line. But anyway, let's quickly look you through the main menu now, guys. We're going to have a 5-lap race around Silverstone on Legend AI, which is building me up to my career mode video later today, where I do use Legend AI for the first time on F1 2015 in a career mode race. But now we're going to go through the good and the bad about this game, which you might not have noticed already. So let's start with the good, because let's be honest, you guys probably do want to hear the good points about this game first, before we inevitably will get onto the bad points, which sadly quite a few more than good at the moment. At the moment, I should say, because they are announcing, or they're hoping to announce, like in-season updates. If that's still going to happen, I'm not too sure, but I really hope it does happen. So maybe this game could be a completely different game, like 2 months in down the road. So I'm not writing it off just yet, but right now I'm giving my opinions of how the game is right now. So what's good? The graphics are really good in my opinion, and the pre-race build-up is pretty cool as well. Like the whole sort of, it makes it feel like it's actually like on Sky Sports or something, for example. It makes you feel like you're actually racing a Grand Prix. You see all the build-up and everything, and that is really, really cool. That is an improvement over F1 2014. The whole race build-up and sort of TV presentation, I think it's labelled as, in this game. It makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion. It makes it just a bit more realistic. And I know it's not supposed to be 100% realistic, this game, but having all the TV and stuff, everything, where it just makes it a bit more fun and interesting as well. I mean, it might wear off a little bit down the line, but at the moment I'm definitely enjoying that part of the game. So the TV presentation style of the game is very, very good. As I was talking about the graphics as well, they are massively improved over F1 2014, in my opinion at least. I mean, some people will say they're probably not, but I think they are improved. I've got it both on PC and PS4, and they both look better than they did on the Xbox 360 and PC from the previous F1 2014 game. So that's an improvement. The graphics are an improvement in the game. And in terms of physics, I think they are as well, because we're talking about the contact system here, not the damage system, the contact system. So say you're going side by side with someone and you slightly cut them off, you actually spin like you would in real life. You don't just sort of, just bounce into each other. You actually like get sort of spun round. If you move across on someone, you actually get spun round. You don't sort of just like glitch and actually just keep going the straight direction. You get spun round, and it's a bit more realistic from the crashes I've seen in real life in Formula 1. It looks a lot more realistic in this game to what it was in F1 2014, where you could pretty much get away from doing anything to the AI, and you could just keep driving. But in this game, if you move across on the AI, they're gonna stay where they are. They're gonna end up spinning you out through your fault of your own. So I think that is much better. The contact system and the AI's brain is just so much better. The AI actually do want to race you in this game. They go for overtakes. They don't just sit back. They really do go for overtakes, and they're not just scared to go for the inside line, which they were in F1 2014 and all of the games before it. They really do like going for overtakes, which is just awesome. It's nice to actually have AI that really do want to go for overtakes and stuff. That is one of the things in this game that has been massively improved upon from F1 2014, which I think is excellent. It's really good to see Codemasters making steps in the right direction in terms of the AI, which was such a big issue in the past. AI just not fun to race against. Now it feels a bit more like a real person you're racing against, which is really good. And also, as I was talking about earlier, the inclusion of 2014 content in this game, it might not sound much, but considering you get quite a lot of game modes in it as well, so you get all the game modes that you get with the 2015 content with the 2014 content as well. So you can actually you can do a whole sort of season and everything. You can do time trial and all that sort of stuff, which is cool. It's nice to have an extra lot in the game, but that stuff's going to wear off quickly, a bit like the classic cars did in F1 2013. It's going to wear off soon, and you're not going to really care about the 2014 cars, and you're just going to stick to the 2015 cars. So at the moment, guys, that's all I've got to say for good. I mean, obviously, some things to F1 2014, they're pretty much just exactly the same. So there's a lot of middle ground as well, but there's not really much point in me talking about the middle ground because that isn't really improved or got any worse. So, but anyway, let's move on to the not so good stuff in F1 2015. Let's start off with the damage system, because we talked about the contact system. You know, if you get spun out by AI, that is much better. You know, wheel-to-wheel combat, you have to be a bit more cautious because it is more likely you're going to get spun out in this game. But the actual damage system, say you run into a wall and you try and break your front wing, you probably saw it in my crash compilation. It's not as good. It just isn't as good as F1 2014. F1 2014 wasn't that great to start off with, but I think that's a slight backward step there. The damage system, say you run into a wall, it's actually harder to knock off your front wing and parts of the wing than in previous games, which just baffles me. How do they take a step backwards in that? I'm not too sure. But one thing actually is a slight improvement in the damage system. A lot of things aren't as good, but one thing that is good is when you do hit a wall and you do knock off your front wing, it actually does look a bit more realistic, which is surprising. So, say you knock off your front wing, you see more individual parts of the front wing that fall off, not just the whole front wing falls off at once. More individual parts of the front wing fall off at a time, which I think is quite good. It makes it a bit better, in my opinion, in terms of the actual look of it. But in terms of the actual system, it just makes it so hard to actually knock off a front wing, which is just annoying. Like contact, maybe you could say like this would damage your front wing from one of the cars here. You could say that Verstappen we're watching on board with here, he probably maybe should have got some front wing damage from that, but he didn't. And I'm looking forward to at some point hopefully having some mods on this game where we can have realistic damage. I mean, at the moment it's looking like that, you know, I've looked on Race Department, hardly any mods available at all. You know, only a couple of like language files are the only ones I've seen on Race Department at the moment. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing as well, the fact that mods don't seem to be as easy, or, you know, to have in the game, or I'm not too sure whether they're even allowed to be in the game. I'm not too sure. I haven't actually seen an official word from Codemasters on it yet, but it doesn't seem like there's many mods coming in. I haven't seen a Williams livery mod either yet, which obviously I'd like to install for the PC so I can have a realistic looking Williams in the game. Bit strange, but anyway, let's move on to something else. Two things that have bugged quite a lot of people in this community. Well, I think the main one is that there's no actual career mode. Like, there's no customization. You can't go to a team, be called your own driver, choose your own helmet, choose your nationality, choose your name. That's all been taken out for this game in the hope of, I suppose, the sort of pro season mode is hopefully sort of taking over the actual career mode, is what I think Codemasters maybe were thinking. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to do 100% races, 100% qualifying and practice, and, you know, drive with all the assists off in the cockpit camera view. It's just such a niche audience that game mode's going for. I think it's actually a little bit disappointing that they took out a really good career mode system to put in a pretty mediocre pro season mode, which I don't think many people are going to be using. So in my opinion, that is disappointing. The whole career mode is just, it's just no creativity in it now. You can't have, you know, for, you know, a lot of people like Ayrton UK doing like a Senna career mode. You can't do that anymore because you can't change your name in the whole career mode. You can't change your helmet as well. So it's just a bit disappointing in terms of that. The creativity is sort of gone in the career mode aspect. Pro season mode, I don't think it's going to get played that much. I should say. And also the sort of championship season mode. It's good. I mean, it's interesting, but you can't change teams like mid-season like you could in the actual career mode. You can't like change to another team at the end of the season and keep all the stats together. You know, at the end of a season in the season mode, all your stats just like reset and you're back to square one once again with a bad car and you can't upgrade it, if you know what I mean. So that's a bit disappointing as well at the end of the day. No career or co-op career mode at the end of the day. Co-op career mode is something I've really enjoyed in the last couple of Formula 1 games. Why that's been taken out, I'm not really too sure. Me and my friend Will are still doing that, sort of a co-op career mode style video, but it's actually just going to be on online races that we're doing, filling it up with AI. So obviously it makes it a lot harder to record those videos because it takes so much more time to get the lobby set up, and also in terms of the standings and everything. Obviously for the first episode it didn't matter because you guys saw the race results and that's just how the standings were, but for the second episode and onwards it's going to make it really tough to keep up to date with all the standings and everything for that co-op career mode. So yeah, that's something that's disappointing as well. No career or co-op career definitely takes out some sort of creativity, especially for the, you know, the video makers like us on YouTube. We want to have that creativity. As I was saying, Ayrton UK Senna career mode. Obviously, that's something that a lot of people liked on his channel, and the fact that we can't have that now it's a bit frustrating in my opinion, because I like to have that creativity in the career mode. And also I need to talk about the online, because that's something that a lot of people played. I didn't really play it at all in F1 2014 apart from co-op career mode. I just didn't really enjoy online races just because it was just constantly getting taken out by people that weren't really serious about racing. I just wanted to crash into people. But the online, in my opinion, is sort of broken at the moment. Not just the fact that these hopper systems just are absolutely terrible and it's impossible to find a lobby with more than like 3 or 4 people unless you have a lot of subscribers or whatever to fill up a lobby for you. It's nearly impossible to get a lobby with you know, a decent amount of people and to actually have a good race. So that's really annoying. The hopper system, you know, as I was talking about, there's like 9 different lobbies that you can go into just for one online race. That's just a bit, it just makes it all complicated. Why can't we just have a simple system that works? I mean, it's like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's the thing that a lot of people say, and it sort of fits in quite well with F1 2015, because there were so many things that were good with F1 2014 and the games beyond, which have been taken out to be put in, you know, to be replaced with something that isn't as good. I mean, I can see what Codemasters are doing with all this beginner races online, all that sort of stuff, to make sure people learn what they're doing before they actually come into an online race, and obviously hopefully if they've done those sort of beginner races, they can get to, you know, good people online. But it's just a bit annoying that it's all separated now, and it's so difficult to find a good lobby. It sort of just makes, you know, multiplayer redundant. What's the point in playing it when there's only like 3 people online? So that's something that's disappointing as well. I mean, I haven't personally had any issues. I mean, I think I've been into like 1 sprint mode lobby as of yet. I really haven't faced many issues online, but I've seen other people's videos. There's so many glitches, you know, slow car glitches and all that sort of stuff on F1 2015 currently, and that's obviously not good, especially when, you know, you're playing in a different country to the host, especially if you're playing on the other side of the world to the host. It makes the online lobbies just really tough to be a part of, because it's just lag and lag. Yeah, you can understand that it's going to be tough to run leagues, especially if, you know, I'm the host, for example, and some of the people in the lobby are from like America or Australia. That it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to make a good online lobby, but let's hope we can, you know, get that fixed, and hopefully that can be something that will be updated in the patch soon. And I don't know, it's really tough to give this game a rating, because in my opinion this game will be a completely different game 2 months down the road, I should say, if they do continue with those sort of updates that they are promising. So I don't want to give this game a full rating yet, but obviously it's a slight disappointing with so many things been taken out, but it does have some good points. In my opinion, it's, in some ways, it is a good base for a good game in the future, but there are things that obviously do need to be sorted out. Why is career and co-op career been taken out? I have no idea. Online needs to be less complicated. Pro season mode, it needs to just be a part of the season. It doesn't need to be its own career mode. That's just a bit silly in my opinion. And also the damage system, as always, needs to be improved. It is a bit disappointing that it just hasn't improved since F1 2010. The damage system is pretty much the same. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it's given you a bit of insight into F1 2015 if you haven't got the game for yourself already. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Let me know whether it's convinced you to buy or not buy this game. And anyway, Spinax, I'm out of here. Goodbye.